Thank you very much, councillors, senior staff, members of the gallery and the press. A warm welcome to you and declare the November meeting of Temora Shire Council open. Thank you for being here. I advise that this meeting is being recorded and will be placed on Temora Shire Council's webpage for public information. The Mayor and councillors are reminded of our oath and affirmation of office made under Section 23A of the Local Government Act 1993 and our obligations under Council's Code of Conduct to disclose and appropriately manage conflicts of interest. All present today, we're reminded that whilst we're speaking, that we agree that our views and comments are being recorded and published. And we're also reminded that if or when we're speaking, that we're to be respectful to others and use the appropriate language. Temora Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures during our council meeting. With those words, I invite Auxiliary Lieutenant Caleb Smith to please lead us in our opening prayer, and thank you very much. And there's a mic, Councillor Irvine, you might like to use his microphone. Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, for Temora Shire, and what an awesome place to live it is. Thank you for all the people whose hard work makes this place what it is, for our nurses and teachers and volunteers and business owners, and in particular our council employees and our councillors. Please bless them here at this meeting today, guide them in their decisions, the big decisions and the little ones, the simple ones and the tricky ones too. And finally, dear God, as we continue with our harvest, we pray for safety on our roads and on our farms too. In Jesus' name we pray with great thankfulness. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for the mic.
Thank you very, very much. Now let's go to our acknowledgement of country. As we begin our meeting today, Temora Shire Council acknowledge the traditional owners of Temora Shire's land and waters, the Wiradjuri people, and we acknowledge their continued connection to country and culture, and we pay our heartfelt respects to elders both past and present, acknowledging their contribution to the Temora Shire community, a place we all call home. So I thank you. We have apologies. I think we have a full dance card. Welcome, Councillor Hawken. Now, could I have a motion, please, to set aside standing order so we can hear our auditor, Mrs. McKenzie. Thank you. Councillor Dukic. Thank you, Councillor Judd. Moved and seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. Council bid a warm welcome to Mrs. Danielle McKenzie, representing our auditors at Crow. A warm welcome to you, Mrs. McKenzie. And I think we look forward to hearing from you. Perhaps not the most encouraging set of figures that we've seen. However, it seems to be a common theme across rural, regional, remote New South Wales. But nonetheless, we welcome you and we'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, councillors, for having me today. So we have audited the general purpose financial statements of Temora Shire Council for the year ended 30 June 2025, and we did express an unmodified audit opinion on those financial statements. So our audit procedures did not identify any instances of material non-compliance with the financial reporting requirements, nor do we have any material deficiencies in Council's accounting records and the financial statements. In terms of those financial statements and Council's results for the year, in terms of the income statement, the operating result from continuing operations was 6.9 million, which was 200,000 lower than the prior financial year. Council's net result before capital grants and contributions was a deficit of 3.5 million for the year. In terms of Council's revenue, it sits at 40.7 million, which was a decrease of 2.4 million on the previous financial year. And that is really as a result of your rates and annual charges sits at 7.1 million, an increase of $500,000 on the previous financial year. Really that's due to your 4.5% rate peg increase, along with some increases in rateable properties for the year. Council's usage charges and fees sits at 14.2 million, a decrease of 2.3 million on the previous financial year. Really, that decrease relates primarily to a decrease in the frail and aged care fees and charges received by council for the year. Council's grants and contributions sits at 7.2 million of their revenue. That was a slight decrease of about 700,000 on the previous financial year. Really, there's quite a few ups and downs in terms of which grants specifically council receives for the year. But overall, it was a decrease of 0.7 million. Council's statement of cash flows details, I guess, the inflows and the outflows of cash for the year. There was a net cash decrease of 4.5 million for the year.
So sorry, Mrs. McKenzie, could you just please outline, if you're able to, the page number? I don't know if it's the same as... Oh, you don't have our business paper.
So I'm really going through the highlights in the conduct report. Sorry, I don't have the specific page number in there.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. McKenzie. Anything further to add?
Sorry, what was that?
Anything further to add?
I guess in terms of highlights, the infrastructure, property, plant and equipment balance, you renewed 7 million of assets for the year. You constructed 9.5 million of newly constructed assets. 5 million of this was roads, 2 million in capital works, and 2.5 million in other assets. And in terms of council's debt, it's that you have loans of 1.8 million, which is a decrease on the previous financial year, really due to repayments, no new major borrowings during the year. And I guess council's unrestricted current ratio is at 4.59 times, which is slightly lower than the previous financial year, and sits slightly behind the prior year average of rural councils, which sits slightly higher at 5.6 times. So you're sitting slightly behind, I guess, the average of your peers in that respect. That's probably the key highlights in terms of the financial result for the year within the financial statements and the overview of the conduct report. But happy to take questions on any specifics within the financials or the audit process itself.
Thank you, Mrs. McKenzie, very much indeed. Before I go to councillors, does the Director of Administration and Finance have any remarks at this point, please?
Not at this stage, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, you have the audited financial statements. Obviously, we'll consider that when we get to it in the business paper. Any comments or questions of our auditor, Mrs. McKenzie, at this point? Is it right that we heard, Mrs. McKenzie, that Crow were giving us a discount for the audit fees, or is that just a vicious rumour?
I can't comment on that, and that would be with the audit office, not ourselves.
Okay. It's worth a try. Thank you very much. We've just been a bit cheeky. Thank you very much. Well, we do appreciate, Mrs. McKenzie, you making the time to address council. It's very, very important, and our director, Mrs. Smith, and her team have spoken quite well in terms of how you people have treated our director and the finance team. So we're very grateful for that. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the council finance team as well for their efforts in terms of and assistance provided in the audit process.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and we'll wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let us now go back to someone please move that we resume standing orders. Thank you. I haven't done that for a while. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, Councillor Judd moved and seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Now, at this point, declaration of interests, please. Is remembering you can do it, of course, before the matter comes up, or you could do it now, or both. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to declare a non-pecuniary interest for report number 15.2, less than significant, and report number 16.4, non-pecuniary, less than significant.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bushell. Councillor Mann.
Yeah, I'd like to declare an interest in 15.2, and I'll be leaving the room.
Thank you, Councillor Mann. I have one in the confidential pink papers, 5.1, heavy vehicle temporary permit route. Nothing further. The Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Yeah, declare a pecuniary interest in confidential in item 25/660.
Thank you. Nothing further. Thank you very much for that. Motion, please. Hang on, the General Manager.
Oh, thank you, Mr Mayor. Just before you move on to the confirming the minutes of the last meeting and while you were discussing disclosures of interest, it's been brought to my attention that I did not make a pecuniary interest declaration in relation to report 15.1 at the October council meeting. It was remiss of me to not declare the interest, and I apologise to the chamber. It was a genuine oversight, and I will ensure that I make a declaration when the matter is considered again by council. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. Would someone that was present care to move that the October minutes of Temora Shire Council be approved as a true and correct record? Thank you, Councillor Dukic. Councillor Smith moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. Any matters arising, Madam General Manager?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. There is no mayoral minutes, so let's proceed to our committee reports. And in your white pages, page 11, minutes of Council's Assets and Operations Committee report, and the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, is the Chairman.
Mr Mayor, I'll move the report we received.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor's moved that the Assets and Operations Committee report be received. Seconder for the motion, please. Thank you, Councillor Judd. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, anything you wish to highlight from the Assets Committee report?
No, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, you have the Assets and Operations Committee and various recommendations there. Is someone prepared to move that they be adopted, or is there an alternate view? So, Councillor Mann, you're happy to move the recommendations in the report be adopted for Assets and Operations. Thank you. Seconder for the motion, please. Thank you, Councillor Dukic. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare that motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, let's go over to page 117, the minutes of Council's Economic Development and Visitations Committee, and Councillor Judd is the Chairman.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll move the report be received.
Thank you. Councillor Judd has moved the report is received. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved. Seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Councillor Judd.
No really comment, just meeting was money an update on what was happening on the economic front in the Shire. So, yep.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. Councillors, you have the Economic Development Visitations Committee report and its recommendations. Is someone prepared to move that they be adopted, or is there an alternate view? Councillor Judd, thank you. Councillor Judd's moving that the Economic Development Visitations Committee report and recommendations be adopted. Seconded for the motion, Councillor Mann. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. We'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Councillors, over to page 122. We go to delegates' reports. And we have received delegates' reports from Councillor Hawken. Further delegates' reports. Councillor Judd.
Just had one on the 17th. I was attended the launch of new DV, an enduring legacy of the story of the Empire Flying Schools. That was at Rapid Wagga. So today after last meeting. So.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Judd, for representing the Shire at that event. We appreciate that. Further delegates' reports. Councillor Hawken.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the Resilience Project's presentation at Town Hall with Martin Heppel on the 23rd of October, and it was great to have Martin in town. He had a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and it was great to tie in, I guess, what's happening within our community in schools and more broadly with the sporting clubs as well. So his presentation was highly engaging. And also the Student Leaders Roundtable on the 10th of November, participating in that. It's always great to hear from our future leaders and their ideas, and they asked some fantastic questions of yourself, the General Manager, the Federal Member for the Riverina and myself. So, yeah, the future's in good hands.
Thank you, Councillor Hawken. You're so right, and it's always a great tradition of Temora Shire to host our student leaders. And again, thank you, Councillor Hawken and the General Manager, for being able to attend. We realise as councillors and senior staff we can't attend everything, and that's just reality. But we're grateful. We're grateful for the effort made and the fact that our federal member made some genuine effort as well. And I think he also was a guest of Councillor Judd's at Rotary after as well, which is terrific. Thank you. Further delegates' reports. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I might just take the opportunity to remind everyone who would have received their Australia Day nominations for the different awards. So, take the time to read them. It's very important that, to get the right person nominated. It's good to see people get the nominations together and so forth. There is a bit of work in doing that. So, and I think they've got to be back in by the 3rd of December. So, anyway, try and make sure we get them back in by that time, please.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, and it's we appreciate the work of you and your committee and the Australia Day Council as well. Look forward to some great occasions in Temora and Area Park. So thank you. Let's go to Councillor Bushell, delegates
Thank
reports.
you, Mr. Mayor. As the chair of the Access and Equity Committee, we met last Friday. Due to the process of business papers and collation, it missed this month. It was a fantastic meeting. We will get the minutes from those, so they will be discussed. But I wanted to highlight with everyone today that Nikki, our consultant who was engaged, has a survey out there, and it's closing on November 30th. So that's to do with the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Framework and the Disability Inclusion Action Plan. So if you have something that you want to contribute, this is the area to highlight it within councillors, to get on board and put your survey results in. Myself and Councillor Smith were in attendance, and Nikki was very vibrant, very active, spoke highly of Temora with all her other engagements that she'd done prior to our meeting. So that was comforting to hear, and I'm sure Councillor Smith has anything to add to that, but just wanted to highlight before the survey closes.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bushell. Councillor Smith, did you have anything you wish to add to those remarks?
No, not at this moment.
No, thank you very much. Thank you. Further delegates' reports? If not, I'll just mention that whilst we were in Sydney for our Country Mayors Association meeting, and of course heard from the Premier, he's undertaken to pursue some planning matter concerns with the planning minister in terms of the confusion that is reigning about councillors' roles or not with various planning matters, whether it's regional or local planning. There is a tremendous amount of confusion out there, and that's being sorted. So we're encouraged to hear that. And also, I wanted to update you from the Deputy Secretary of Office of Local Government, Mr. Brett Whitworth. Pardon me, he advises in Sydney that in relation to joint organisations, ROCs and alliances, you'll understand that there are many JOs that have fallen by the wayside and so on. So the Minister and the Government are considering an approach to regional collaboration that will give councils the opportunity to nominate which organisations, a JO or a ROC or an alliance, etc., they would like to use for collaboration, and the memberships as well as the boundaries of those organisations. The fundamental principle of the new approach will be that councils are free to choose the form of how they collaborate and not be forced into organisations or boundaries imposed by the state. This approach will not require legislation, but will require councils to nominate how they would like to collaborate, if at all, and to identify their preferred boundaries. Once this information is compiled, the new proclamations can be made, and those joint organisations wishing to wind up, which is the case of the Riverina, Namoi, one in the far west, will be allowed to close and not pay these audit fees that, like for example, Riverina JO had to pay $13,500 for audit fees for 0 transactions. And then we were advised in Sydney that, we didn't have to do that, we wouldn't bounce you, the government wouldn't bounce us. So we're a bit disappointed that effectively there's money down the drain. But anyway, that's at least some encouraging news. And of course, the LGNSW conference starts this Sunday, and Councillor Judd, Councillor Bushell, the General Manager, and I will be representing Temora Shire alongside some 900 to 1,000 other council delegates from across New South Wales. So, any further delegates' reports? If not, I thank you, and we go over to page 123, the Mayor's report for the month of October. There's a recommendation on the top of page 127 that the Mayor's report be noted. Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Councillor Bushell, thank you. Moved, seconded, discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. Over to page 128. Motion, please, receive staff reports. Councillor Bushell, thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, moved, seconded, discussion. Oh, we don't need to discuss. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. Contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Over to page 129, the General Manager's report, 13.1, the calendar of events for November. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report is as written, just noting that the Australia Day celebration at Gloucester Park in Temora on the 26th of January should be an 8:30 start for that. We'll make sure that that's updated and ensure that it's updated in the December report as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. Councillors, you have the calendar of events for November. Is someone prepared to move the recommendation that they be noted? Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, moved. Seconded. Discussion? No discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Over to page 130, 13.2. Our plan for the future, Q1 review 2025-2026. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There has been plenty of activity in the first quarter of this financial year. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Yeah, very much so. Councillors, you have the Quarter 1 review there before you. Any comments or questions in relation to that? The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. On page 149, item 3.26, it says that the youth officers are trying to identify suitable grants for the garden. I thought council actually got some funding for that.
What we did too. Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. That would be a timing issue. So these reports are prepared between, so it'd be July, August, September. So we probably found out about that grant after September. So we always write the reports for the quarter that the activity occurred in. So, yeah. So the next review of the document will obviously update that great news.
Yeah, thank you. Anything further, Mr Deputy Mayor? No, thank you. Further items? Very, very busy already, Madam General Manager, which is appreciated by the Chamber. Well, there's a recommendation, councillors, for you to consider that Council recommend that our plan for the future Quarter 1 review for 2025-26 be noted. Councillor Mann, thank you. Second of the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Moved, seconded. Further discussion? There's no further discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Clear the motion carried unanimously. Councillor Smith?
Just a question on page 137.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
From the hospital, is it down to the tip or somewhere else?
Thank you, Councillor Smith. We have passed it, but I'm happy to allow the question because we haven't technically introduced the next item, so that's fine. We'll go to the Director of Environmental Services. Councillor Smith, can you use your microphone, please? Thank you. Councillor Smith.
Yeah, just whether the rubble from the hospital was ending up in our tip or not.
Thanks, Councillor Smith. The Director.
The nurses' quarters demolition is 80% complete, and yes, it is going to our landfill site.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we proceed over to our next report, which is on page 161, 13.3, the Model Code of Meeting Practice. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As I'm sure all the councillors are aware, this is a significant change to the way in which meetings will be required to be conducted moving forward. The opportunity to adopt or endorse a model code of meeting practice that has been considered by council is available to us. It is will need to go out on public exhibition following endorsement by council. Thank you, Mr Mayor. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. And councillors, I do thank you for being involved with the workshop. It is an important issue. And look, once in probably a few generations, to be quite frank, that this being tackled and reviewed by any government. And I think that the one thing, whilst I know there are many that are not happy about audio-visual link, although we're pleased that the Minister has seen fit to, for example, Berkshire had an issue with if they had 10 mil of rain, for example, on some of their unsealed roads, that would they be able to have access to the audio-visual opportunity. So the Minister has indicated that would fall under the natural disasters component of the code, which makes sense. And the same with, if there was snow in the Snowy Valleys region or other, the common sense has got to play a role. So I'm just encouraged that the Minister has that attitude, which is positive. But at the end of the day, we've got what we've got. We've had plenty of opportunity to consult and the umpire's made his decision, but let's give it a go. And I think if the Minister sees everyone giving it a genuine go, and then after 12 months, let's provide some genuine feedback, both the initiatives that we applaud and perhaps those that we think there are challenges there that we may identify at that time. We go to Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendation.
Thank you. The recommendation is there on page 163 that we endorse the draft model code of meeting practice, attachment 1, and place it on public exhibition for a minimum period of 28 days, allowing members of our Shire community 42 days to comment, and 2, following the period of exhibition, should no relevant submissions be received, the model code of meeting practice be adopted. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Second for the motion, Councillor Jukic. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. Discussion. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did not ask this during our workshop, and it's tweaked my brain today. Recently reading this, is there a level of period of compliance? Like are we, or is it just strict compliance from the time that we adopt the code, or what is the repercussion? I don't know whether that was detailed within that process. So whether council could have that information. So if we have 1 or 2, 3 months of grace, is there a grace period of learning to understand these new ways? Even though I think we do already conduct ourselves quite well in this chamber, but others may not. So that's my query. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bush. My understanding, before I go to the General Manager, is as from the 1st of January, this is it. That's my understanding. The General Manager?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, that is correct. So that should council not endorse the proposed draft today, that all councils will automatically revert to the mandatory provisions from the 1st of January 2026. This allows us to have, I guess, the aspects that are relevant and ones that we see fit for Temora Shire Council to be included within the document.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Even though we've got no alternative but to adopt the draft proposal, I expressed my concern about the changes to the audio-visual links. One of the good things that come out of COVID was they were able to have Zoom meetings, Zoom access, and as a number of occasions I've made use of that when I've been away, and I think it's going to be a great change, and being an active member of a committee like Assets and Operations and Economic Development, that affects the quota needed to be for a meeting, and if I can't be there on Zoom when I'm away, I think I'm going to have to seriously consider next year not being an active member of those committees. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Judd. Look, yes, we understand where you're coming from, and to be quite frank, that is, I would suggest, the major issue that we're hearing across our members is that what you've just reflected. However, as you know, there's been lots of representations made from individual councils, ROCs, CMA, LGNSW, but the Minister has made his mind up. He's saying that federal and state parliamentarians aren't allowed to Zoom in, so therefore nor a local government, but I don't know whether we're quite comparing apples with apples. But the umpire's made his call, but thank you, Councillor Judd. Further remarks?
I do know on the conference program that the board has a motion about pushing this concern about audio-visual access as well, so it'd be good to hear the discussion next week.
Very much so. Look, you never know what may happen, Councillor Judd, but I was encouraged to see that motion there, but let's see how it pans out. Thank you. Further discussion on the motion in relation to endorsing the model code. If not, I beg your pardon. Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I just look at
Thank you.
I just look at where our code of dress has always been pretty good at council. Our respect for the mayor has always been good at council. And it doesn't matter who the mayor has been over the last 30 years. But I still say to stand up when the mayor enters the room, if we're all created equal, I don't think it's necessary to stand up for the mayor. And I give, as much as I respect you, I still don't think we need to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Well, I'm sure that you'd acknowledge that usually the mayor's the first one in the chamber, in usual terms, and I think the operative term, as I understand it, Madam General Manager, it says encouraged. I also don't support or subscribe to that. If there was an unruly chamber, then I think those mechanisms could be adopted by that relevant council to try and bring back some order. The same with standing when speaking. Again, it is to be encouraged, but there are those that perhaps are not able to stand. But again, I think the operative term is encouraged. So thank you, Councillor Smith. If there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So let's see what responses that we get. Thank you. Over to page 207, 13.4, the Local Government Remuneration Tribunal draft submission. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The draft submission has been prepared based on previous submissions made by Council. We have until December to submit it, 18th of December to submit it, but we have the draft there available for Council's consideration. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. Go to Councillor Judd.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I commend the General Manager on the draft proposal, draft letter. The main points always has been for us that we are on the bottom rung of the allowances and that, but I've argued for years that we are still doing the same amount of work as a big city council, so I think that should be taken into account. I don't mean we're going to be the same equivalent, but at least more than recognise more than what we are.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. I see nods around the chamber when you've shared those remarks, so thank you. Councillors, you have the report there for you to consider. There's a recommendation that Council endorse the draft submission for referral to the local, without an E, Government Remuneration Tribunal. Someone prepared to move that way? Is there an alternate view? Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
I'll move the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor's moved the second. Thank you, Councillor Judd. Moved, seconded. Further discussion? No further discussion. We'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Let's see how that submission goes. Let's go to page 223, 13.5, the annual report for Temora Shire Council for 2024-2025. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The 24-25 annual report provides a really good overview of what has been achieved in the last financial year. Happy to take any questions in relation to the annual report.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. That report, of course, has been made available. We have a hard copy, of course, here. It's come up very, very well, all things considered. Council, you have a recommendation there the General Manager's put for Council to consider, that Council endorse the 2024-2025 annual report, or if there's an alternate view. Someone prepared to move that recommendation? The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll move that recommendation.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Mann. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. No discussion. I think it just reminds us, councillors, staff and the gallery that just how full-on, productive, diverse council's roles are and just how much we've achieved in 12 months. And I have to say it, in reflecting on that report, it made me even more proud of the councillors and the staff, and of course anyone that helps us achieve what we do as a Temora Shire Council. So well done to all involved. Well, I'll put the motion if there's no further discussion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. I declare that motion carried unanimously, and well done. Anything further of an urgent late nature, Madam General Manager?
No, through you, Mr Mayor. No, thank you.
Thank you. Let's go over to page 224, Engineering Services Department Report, 14.1, Submission on Proposal to Reduce Default Speed Limit. The Executive Manager.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Report is as written.
Thank you. Mr Executive Manager, and well done on, that was an outstanding submission there that's being proposed, I have to say. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Yes, thanks, Mr Mayor. Yes, I totally agree. It's I just really can't believe this has been put up for us in the first place. It shows that some people out there that have absolutely no idea what happens in rural New South Wales for a start. And I hope this really gets knocked on the head very quickly.
Thank you, Mr Deputy. Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. I have to say the General Manager and I, with the New South Wales Minister for Roads and Regional Transport, Minister Aitchison, last Thursday, and Minister Aitchison just reminded us that this is one part of the process. They're igniting the federal government are going down on this path, and therefore they can't enforce anything on the state government. So when it gets to the state government, they will consider what they do after extensive consultation with councils and with communities. So the Minister was at pains to remind us of that point. So thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Councillor Judd.
Good to see on the front page of the Rural today that Minister Aitchison is violently opposed to the reduction. So good to see that she's on our side. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. That's great. She's come out publicly with those views. So thank you for that. Councillors, you have the report, and the recommendation for Council to consider is that we receive and note the report. The only addition that I'd like to see, and perhaps it's a matter of course, is sending copies to our Federal Minister for Infrastructure and Transport, Minister King, Minister Aitchison, and of course the local and state MPs, federal and state MPs rather, LGNSW, CMA and REROC. So that's just a suggestion if someone wanted to move that we receive and note the report with those additions, or if there's an alternate view. Councillor Bushell?
Yeah, I'd like to move that way with that inclusion. I was going to ask about whether it was shared far and wide with other engineers, because, you know, that's another process of joint organisation. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Bushell. You've moved that way. Seconded. Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved. Seconded. Further discussion? Let's hope common sense prevails eventually, but again, it's the first step of a long journey. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you, Mr Executive Manager, Engineering Services. Is there anything of an urgent late nature?
No, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. Let's go to page 232, the Environmental Services Department report, 15.1, Draft Sewerage Management Plan. The Director.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. This is a review of our 2021 policy, particularly timely given the decision that was made out at Area Park not to pursue the reticulated sewer system. A few minor changes are proposed. They're highlighted in red throughout the document, and I recommend that we put it on public exhibition and put feedback back to Council at this next meeting.
Thank you, Mr Director. And I think that includes in 28 days, that's the standard. Yeah, thank you. Councillors, you have the report there and a recommendation for you to consider. Is someone prepared to move the recommendation or is an alternate view? Thank you. The Deputy Mayor.
Mayor, I'll move the recommendation.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor's moved the recommendation that 1, place the draft on-site sewage management plan on public exhibition for 28 days, and 2, determine to adopt the draft on-site sewage management plan as exhibited if no submissions are received at the conclusion of the public exhibition period. Seconder for the motion, please. Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved. Seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Sorry, further discussion. Councillor Irvine.
Yeah, just a question to the director. This applies to rural holdings, not just villages. Is that the understanding of the...
Thank you, Councillor Irvine, the Director.
That's correct, yes. All on-site sewage management, they would be classified as a very low risk, the lowest risk broadacre rural properties.
Thank you.
Just
Councillor Irvine.
follow on from that, then have you got indications of how your compliance sits with these systems on farm?
Thank you, Councillor Irvine, the Director.
Generally, they fall into a low risk category, so they're only sort of investigated upon complaint. So it's not something that we've got a good handle on. I guess the consequences of failure are pretty low. That's, I guess, where you can rest assured. But generally, we look at the sites and the tanks when we receive a development application and make sure that they're brought up to speed at that occasion.
And re-rock. Thank you, Councillor Irvine. Thank you, Mr. Director. No further discussion. I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much indeed. Let's now go to page 261, 15.2, Scoping Report, Chifley Street, Temora. Councillor Mann is vacating the chamber due to his declaration of interest. And I go to the Director of Environmental Services.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to defer to the Town Planner, who's the author of this report.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Madam Town Planner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this report introduces a scoping report for land that's located on the northern side of Chifley Street. Its scoping report is a prior document to a planning proposal. It's where the applicant who is driving the proposal provides preliminary information to council to indicate their intention to seek rezoning of the land. It is a precinct which is in accordance with council officers and the Department of Planning's preference that any planning proposal is not a spot rezoning where possible, and it takes into account adjoining land and looks at collectively as a precinct. So the purpose of this document is for councillors to provide any preliminary feedback to the applicant and their consultant prior to them progressing with presenting a planning proposal, which I'm advised at this stage would be intended to be presented to council early in the new year. So it's for the consideration of council.
Thank you, Madam Town Planner. I just note in the recommendation point 2 that was saying provide any preliminary feedback to the applicant. Is that from the chamber today that that feedback would be taken back? Is that how we understand it, Town Planner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm happy to receive preliminary feedback today, or if council wish to provide feedback in writing to me at a later date, that's also quite acceptable. If a councillor would like to indicate that they would like to provide that written feedback to me, that's perfectly fine. As I mentioned, so the applicant's not looking to submit anything further until the new year, but it's to seek some preliminary views from council and to see if there is preliminary support for what they're seeking to do, which, as noted in my report, aligns with the Temora Local Housing Strategy, which is currently on public exhibition.
Thank you, Madam Town Planner. Councillors, you have the report there. Did the Director have anything to add at this point?
No, nothing, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, the report's there for your consideration. It's interesting to note that no objection has been raised to the concept of rezoning, so that's encouraging. Who have we got? Councillor Irvine.
None of the paperwork contained in this report acknowledges the fact that there's a fairly significant structure already been built on this block. So I'd expect that there's a DA in place relative to that. And I'd probably like to have a look at the copy of that DA just in terms of if it's on primary production land, how it fits into that space. And a business appears to be operating from this site, or maybe. So that needs to be sort of probably included in some of this paperwork. It's not recognised or acknowledged anywhere here, and none of the photographs show any of the structure or any of the improvements that have been done on this land. It all seems to be fairly outdated in terms of overhead shots, aerial shots and the like, with none of the fencing, roads and infrastructure that have been put in place on this subject land. That said, there's a property to the extreme east of that development that has had semblances of a business operating out of it for some time, and there's also some other properties there that similar types of thing occur. I'm not 100% convinced that a residential rezoning would be the ideal zoning in this location. Looking at the current and future uses, it might be more advisable for the applicant to be looking at a zoning that is like the enterprise corridor, or that mixed use type zoning that allows for businesses and residential to sort of coexist. And I suppose the only other consideration from council's perspective is we've got a report currently being prepared by a consultant that may or may not result in targeting high levels of population growth or significant population growth, which will of course then impact the requirements of the landfill and the sewage treatment works, which are in relatively close proximity to this rezoning. So there needs to be some careful consideration given to this. There is also a lack of suitable industrial land. So there may be an opportunity to look at incorporation of some industrial land on the Teal Street frontage, which may create some sort of a site and refuse buffer for any windblown stuff escaping the landfill site to these residential areas. I'm not sure that residential is the ideal classification at this point in time, and looking at what you'd imagine the planned future use of this block may be, then residential might not be the appropriate the zoning, and there may be some considerations given to other zoning matters. And I'm really, really reluctant to do anything significant close to the landfill and the sewage treatment works, given that it would be absolutely cost prohibitive to have to relocate them and then to have additional facilities built to take extra load if they were full. So there's a lot of things there that are.
Thank you,
It's a very critical piece of land and a very critical juncture in the development of the Shire.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. You've had a fair go. There's someone else that's waiting.
5 minutes.
Well, can you please show some courtesy?
Yes,
Thank you.
can you please give me 5 minutes?
Thank you.
Okay.
Councillor, I'd ask you to please wind up. Thank you. So nothing further. Thank you. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a different point of view on that one. I feel that this is inclusive of our housing strategy. Housing strategy has been going on for many years now. So I see this sort of is a nice fit for the end of the area of that zoning. I don't believe we can actually talk about current usage because we're only talking about a rezone proposal here. So for me, I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Bushell, before I take your motion, please, I want to ask, just going back to Councillor Irvine's remarks, if the Director or the Town Planner had any comments in relation to the feedback, and then I'll come back to your motion, Councillor Bushell. Thank you. I didn't know you were diving into the motion, so thank you. The Director.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. The land immediately across the road is zoned residential. We see this as a normal extension of that use. We agree with your comments about the landfill site. I think this would cap the residential growth to the north for the very reasons you mentioned. And it's the reasons that we've only, they're suggesting that the front blocks immediately adjacent to Chifley Street are included in this proposal. There was a consideration to going further back towards the second block of the applicants and towards Forest Street, but for the reasons you mentioned about the landfill site and the sewage treatment works, this was discouraged. So there you have got some valid issues there, but we believe that this is the best use of that land, and we're supportive of the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Director. And again, I think appreciate the Chamber providing feedback. So I'll go back to a patient, Councillor Bushell. Thank you.
I'd like to move the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. So Councillor Bushell is moving the recommendation, providing principal support for the scoping report, and of course acknowledge feedback that has been given by Council, and receive a future report once a planning proposal is submitted by the applicant. So that's another opportunity for Council to consider at that time, which is most important. So Councillor Bushell, you're moving that way. Thank you. Seconder for the motion, Deputy Mayor Councillor Sinclair. Thank you. Moved. Seconded. Is there further discussion? There's no further discussion. Councillor Bushell. Oh, I beg your pardon. If there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please raise your hands. To the contrary, no. Thank you. I declare the motion carried, and noting Councillor Irvine's dissent. Thank you very much. If someone could please, Councillor Hawken, are you or no? Looks like Councillor Dukic is up on her feet. I hope he's still there. Thank you, Councillor Dukic. Welcome back to the Chamber, Councillor Moe. During your temporary absence, Council have resolved to adopt the recommendation, and that was carried by Council with Councillor Irvine voting against, and that's what happened. So thank you. Nothing of an urgent late nature from the Direct Environmental Services?
No, Mr. Mayor.
No, thank you very much. Let's go to page 281, the Administration Finance Department report, 16.1, Efficiency and Productivity Gains Plan, one of the most important reports this Council will be considering. Let us go to the Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report's as written. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. Councillors, you have that report there. We had a very, very good workshop, as you know. The question, while councillors are reflecting on the report. Do you believe the $90,000, which again is just proposing a reallocation, do you think that 90,000 is genuinely going to cover what's it intended to? Director?
Through you, Mr Mayor, there's several aspects of the project remaining, and we'll be doing our best to work within the budget that's provided. It will just depend pretty much on the community consultation and the extent of support that's required in that space, and also the review of the asset management systems and data as to how much work's involved for the consultants.
Okay, thank you. Councillors, you have the report there. Remember, it's not trying to find another 90, it's just it's a reallocation. There's a recommendation there for Council to consider. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to move the recommendation. It's not as if it's only bringing it forward, as it's been said. I think it's ideal to keep things moving along, and I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. You're moving that Council will endorse the Organisational Efficiency and Productivity Gains Improvement Plan, and to approve the reallocation of $90,000 from 2026-27 budget to proceed to the next phase of the project. Thank you. Seconder for the motion, please. Thank you, Councillor Hawken.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm happy to second that motion. A lot of good work's been done in this space, so I'd like to see it keep rolling to reach a conclusion.
Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Further discussion? Go to Councillor Judd.
Could we just ask some of the initiatives that and what they're trying to achieve? The bottom 297 probably reduce the opening hours of Service New South Wales. Do you see a time that there is slack time that could be reduced or not?
Thanks, Councillor Judd. The Director.
Through you, Mr Mayor, where that suggestion is coming from is the fact that the Service New South Wales agency is paid on the basis of the number of transactions, and with the transition to a lot of the simple transactions being conducted online, the transactions that the agency is completing are generally the more difficult and complex transactions that take a lot of time. Clearly we're not completing the number of transactions we once used to complete, so we're being reimbursed a lot less, and that is getting increasingly difficult to provide that service to the community at no cost to council.
Thank you, Madam Director. And just for Council's information, we've raised this on 2 occasions with Minister Dibb in relation to that matter. It's not covering costs, so actually I think that we're formally writing to him again in relation to that, and he was quite shocked and just acknowledged that perhaps shouldn't be the case. So let's see where that lands. Thank you. Further discussion on the motion, I go to Councillor Irvine.
Just to pick up on that note, that is a direct cost shift. And I've got an example where paperwork wasn't sent to me for the renewal of a registration, and I have to attend the service agency here to take care of that business. Now, obviously that's something that you need to attend the agency for, as opposed to the standard simple re-registration when you just got the BPay details on the document. So clearly there needs to be some lobbying and advocacy regarding the remuneration per transaction, and I see that that's exactly the type of transactions that the people are dealing with here. They're not just basic 5-minute interactions. Some of these are quite significant. So there needs to be a higher rate per transaction given because of the complexity of the issues that they're dealing with.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Irvine. I think the Chamber would agree wholeheartedly, and again, Council will again enhance those representations and correspondence to the Minister. Councillor Judd.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Another one there about reviewing our membership of different organisations. I know it's great we're involved in something like country mayors, but Is country mayors make a contribution to our costs of being there, or not?
Thank you, Councillor Judd. The General Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. So in terms of attendance for the country mayors meetings, that is an expense borne by council, because that's attending as part of our membership to country mayors, where the mayor attends in his role as chairman to specific functions or meetings outside of what he would otherwise attend for Temora. It is covered by the Country Mayors Association membership fees paid in general. So it really does depend in terms of nature of the type of attendance that occurs.
Thank you, Councillor Judd. Further discussion on the motion? Just remember, this is just part of this crucial journey that we're on. So it's, you know, this is not the only time that we're going to go through this forensically. It'll be a very, very crucial body of work. So with no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. And declare the motion carried, and thank the Director and General Manager and all of the team for the work done to date. This is a crucial journey that we're on. Thank you. Let's go over to page 303, 16.2, the audited financial statements to 30 June 2025. We've heard from our auditor. Now let's hear from our Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So, as the Mayor suggested, the auditors have presented their report this afternoon, and a detailed overview of the draft financial statements was presented to the October Council meeting. I'm happy to take any further questions if there are any.
Thank you, Madam Director. Councillors, you have the financial statements and audit reports there. It does paint a bleak picture. We haven't had any submissions, but I'm pleased that this council's on the front foot to continue to try and address the issue, as is every other rural, regional, remote council throughout the state. There's a recommendation, Councillor, for you to consider that Council receive and note the financial statements and audit reports for the year ended 30 June 2025, or as an alternate view. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'm quite happy to move the recommendation. I think the positive side is I think that, as you can see, our finance staff are right on the ball. There's everything's been done according to the way it's supposed to be done and so forth. I mean, yeah, it could have been a lot better report. Let's hope they don't get too much worse in the future.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Seconder for the motion, please. Councillor Mann, you're seconding?
Yep, I'm prepared.
Thank you.
Councillor Mann. I'm pretty happy that there were no discrepancies.
Yeah. Thanks, Councillor Mann. Seconded the motion. Further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion to the chamber. All those with that opinion, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much for that, and again we warmly acknowledge the Director and your team. I know the General Manager has kept us updated how impressed she is with how all of you have been working hard, and all staff at looking to try and identify savings, even down to Christmas cards. Executive Assistant and I go through that today. But everyone is fair dinkum in this process, and it's much appreciated by Council. Let's go over to page 414, 16.3, Quarterly Budget Review, quarter ending 30 September 2025. The Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The quarterly budget review is presented for the quarter ended 30th of September 2025. Council will note that there's new templates that have been mandated by the Office of Local Government. So Council is unable to modify those templates. That's what we have to report. On the variation, there's a variation to the operating result of $2.5 million dollars, a decrease in our projected net operating result. And that's largely due to the variation in the income we will receive this year in relation to the FAGS grant. And then there's several adjustments in relation to the capital grants and the associated expenditure with those programs. Happy to take any questions on the report.
Thank you, Madam Director. I'm glad you referenced the OLG finance report. I have never seen anything so clunky, hard to read. I don't know what my fellow councillors are thinking, but I thought that was pretty ordinary. But whether I'm a hard judge, I don't know. Did any other councillor have a similar view, or Councillor Bushell, Councillor Dukic, Councillor Smith? Yeah. Okay. Well, Madam Director, what's your honest assessment, which you feel frank, knowing that this is being recorded?
Through you, Mr Mayor, the templates have been mandated, and attempts by many councils have been made to, request that some flexibility be applied here, but the OLG is pretty adamant that they'd like standardised reporting so that all councils and communities are receiving the same information consistently across the board. That's the intent of the mandated reporting template.
I don't think anyone would knock the intent, however. Thank you. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendation, and I do agree. I've actually listened to a couple of council meetings already this week, and everyone has said the same thing about the QBRS, how it's a little bit hard to digest.
No, thanks very much, Councillor Bushell. So you're moving the recommendation that has 1, receive and note the quarterly budget review statement for quarter ending 30 September 2025. 2, endorse the budget of $1,622,384,000 for carryover works to be allocated the 2025-26 financial year. And finally, number 3, endorse the budget of $24,912 for carryover works as listed in the table to be allocated the 2026-27 financial year. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Seconder for the motion, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Moved and seconded. Discussion. No further discussion. Just noting in the discussion there that to have under 9,000 budget variations. I know we're only in this initial quarter, but I think that's very good. We get very nervous, as you know, Madam Director, that if there's overruns, but that seems to be not too bad under the circumstances. And also noting that yourself, the General Manager, and all of our staff are looking at ways to reasonably save costs. So we do thank you for that. So I'll put the motion to council. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. And again, we thank the finance team most sincerely. Let's go to page 430, 16.4, amendments to membership of Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. Eric, the Director.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The report's provided to Council in relation to several changes to the composition of our Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. I'm happy to take any questions in relation to the report.
Thank you, Madam Director. It's a very complex thing, these Erics. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Yes, the concern is, I suppose, when there's the positions keep changing, or the people keep changing, how to keep any sort of stability in the decisions and carry over from one meeting to the next and so forth. So it's something that should be a stable committee, I would have thought.
Well said, Mr Deputy Mayor. The Director.
Yeah, through you, Mr Mayor. It was quite fortunate that our previous chair was willing and able to stay on as a committee member, so at least we've just got that one position that's changed.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair, has Moving the recommendation, page 432, that one note anyway, I know I'm supposed to read this for the recording, that the chair of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, ARIC, Mr Nick Tobin, has advised that he is ineligible to continue to chair the committee as an employee of a New South Wales council in accordance with the Local Government General Regulation 2021, Regulations S216DK, however, remains eligible to remain on the ARIC as an independent member. 2, appoint Ms Kylie McRae as independent chairman and member of the ARIC for the remainder of the current term of the ARIC to 30 June 2028. 3, appoint Mr Nick Tobin as an independent member to 30 June 2028. 4, appoint Mr Steve Embry as an independent member to 30 June 2028. 5, note that Mr Phil Thomas has resigned as an independent member of the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee. And finally, 6, note the General Manager will coordinate with the member councils of the Audit Alliance to notify the OLG of these changes in accordance with Regulation S216H(2). Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Seconder for the motion, please. Thank you, Councillor Judd. Moved, seconded, discussion. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I was very intrigued as, like, every member of this ARIC committee has to move this motion, yes? And what would happen if our council chose not to? Where do we stand? And then, yeah, funnily enough, I thought maybe if they need an auditor for the audit committee, maybe, I don't know what Councillor Sinclair said. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. Does the General Manager or Director have any response?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The response I would give is the the ARIC Alliance that we are part of works incredibly well together. It's a very collaborative, supportive environment, and I think we're incredibly lucky to have the team around us that we work with. So I think it would be highly unlikely that we didn't have the support through the alliance that we have. But yes, it is noted it's a little bit complex.
Thank you, Madam General. Thank you, Councillor Bushell. If there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. For the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Let's go to page 433, 16.5, Code of Conduct Statistics. The Director, Administration and Finance.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So the return for the Model Code of Conduct complaint statistics for the period 1 September 24 to 31 August 25 has been prepared as required. That's to be submitted to the OLG by the end of December. I'm happy to take any questions on the report.
Thank you, Madam Director. Councillors, you see the report there, the Code of Conduct Statistics. There's a recommendation for Council to consider that Council receive the reporting statistics and Code of Conduct complaints about councillors and the General Manager in accordance with Part 11 of the procedures for the administration, what should it be, of the Model Code of Conduct. That's all right. We can just fix that up. Thank you. I go to Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just had an inquiry. If there was nil, does it still need to be reported?
Thank you, Councillor Bushell. It was my understanding that's the case. However, I'll go to the Director.
Through you, Mr Mayor, that's correct, yes.
Thank you.
In accordance with the procedures. The procedures say that it needs to be submitted annually, yep.
Thank you. So there's a recommendation there, Councillor, at the bottom of page 433 for councillors to consider. Is someone prepared to move that way as an alternate view? The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Yeah, I'll move the recommendation. So I'm happy to do it, but I'll move it.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Is there a seconder for the motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved, seconded, discussion. There's no discussion. I'll put the motion. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Is there anything of an urgent late nature from the Director?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. A very, very busy time for the Director, and again, well done to you, Madam Director. We know we acknowledge your team as we should, but every team needs a leader, and you're doing an outstanding job as far as councillors are concerned, so thank you. Let us go to page 438, correspondence, 17.1. Southern Sports Academy, the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So council has been approached by the Southern Sports Academy, who have been reviewing their arrangements with the various councils, and they have written to council requesting consideration be given to an increased funding amount, and they put forward two options for council's consideration. One is to increase the contribution per athlete to $300. The other option is to set a fixed annual contribution of $3,000. In the case of Temora Shire Council and the athletes that come from our shire, you can see in the table that we've had varying numbers of athletes over the years that are put forward for the Southern Sports Academy. And so the officer's recommendation is that we look to increase the amount per athlete to $300, even though that may change per annum. It doesn't necessarily set us at a $3,000 amount if there was only 3 athletes, for example, that were being put forward for consideration.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. The council, you see that it's been a program, as I understand, council supported for many years, and it does ebb and flow in terms of the participants, but the reports from the athletes and their families that it's a phenomenal opportunity for our young people. And again, 10 years since we've considered an increase. However, it's a matter for council to consider. There is a recommendation for council to consider that council increase the contribution to the Southern Sports Academy to $300 per athlete commencing from the 2026-2027 financial year, or there may be an alternate view. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. As you said, this has been on $200 for many years. I thought it might have been more than 10 years, to tell the truth. But certainly $200 is worth a lot less now than what it was 10 years ago. And while this would take more money out of our budget donation, I think it's probably a reasonable request, and I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Moving the recommendation. Is there a seconder for the motion? Seconder for the motion, please. Thank you, Councillor Dukic. Moved, seconded. Further discussion? Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. When we do receive the notification anyway, we do another motion to do that process anyway, don't we? And there's another way of looking at it through our budget, also through the donations budget, correct? So, we are going through a process each time. So I'm happy to endorse the motion as well.
Thanks, Councillor Bushell. There's no further discussion. All right. Read your mind. If no further discussion, we'll put the motion to you. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried unanimously. So thank you very much. Any urgent, late correspondence, Madam General Manager?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillors, we do not have any business with notice. We don't have any notices of motion. Are there any urgent items of business without notice, please? No, thank you. Let us go over to page 442, the Councillor's information paper. Could I have a motion, please, that receiving and noting that information paper? Thank you, Councillor Hawken. Moved, seconded. Councillor Bushell, thank you. Moved, seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. Thank you. Councillors, items and the report. Councillor Bushell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm a bit on fire. I really enjoy the Road Safety Officer reports. I love his dialogue, deployment, distribution, conducted. It really showcases his history of what he has done in his life prior to being an RSO. The other element that I was very fortunate to be involved with is our Access and Equity Committee. I met his wife. She is lovely. She's a very big advocate for disability. She has a a similar disability to my mother. So, but she was a lovely individual, and I really can't remember her name. But yeah, it's two great citizens that have joined our town, so it's very good to see.
Yeah, that's great. That's lovely, Councillor Bushell. Thank you for sharing those reflections to the chamber. Well, with those lovely words, I'm asking something of the director that's not so lovely. Page 453, down the very bottom, the funding deficit. Could you please perhaps expand on that alarming figure for the chamber, please? The director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The funding deficit is alarming. Or, you know, I am concerned about council's cash position, but I will note that at the end of October, we were actually owed $2.6 million from other levels of government for various grant funding that we'd spent, and seeking reimbursement from those other levels of government for, including 770 for LRCI and 770 for RMCC, 413,000 for DRFA. And there's a few other smaller items there. But yeah, $2.6 million in grant funding that we're due to receive.
Thank you. And the director's right on to federal and state government agencies, I can assure you, but it's just that obviously it made us sick, obviously, when you looked at that figure. And I thank the director for sharing that important information with council. Any other items? Go to Councillor Irvine.
I'm just looking at the Town Hall Theatre operating statement on page 462.
Oops. 462.
And there seems to be a significant drop-off in admissions in the income to almost half current year to date as opposed to previous year to date. Has the Director of Environmental Services got any indications as to why that patronage has dropped that much?
Thanks, Councillor Irvine. The director.
It really does come down to quality of the movies, and I don't know whether it's a COVID overhang from when they were being not produced, but you know, there hasn't been many blockbusters, and we really look forward to the school holidays, which is coming up in December, obviously. So I was at a meeting last night. They've picked appropriate children's movies, so they do have plans to try and turn it around, and also we invited our economic development manager to the meeting last night too, is also going to use his comms team to try and boost patronage as well as patronage and volunteers as well, which is something they're a bit short on the ground at the moment as well. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Thank you, Councillor Irvine. We'll go to the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Under regulatory control for September on page 448, in other, there's a report there, one of wandering person, drunk and abusive, and then 2 neighbourhood disputes. Is that something that our Ranger should be getting involved in?
Good question. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Does the Director have a response to the Deputy Mayor's question, please?
It's not something I'm across, but no, he shouldn't be involved in that. And sometimes you get involved with neighbourhood disputes when it relates to an companion animal or something like that. But yeah, I'm not across those two incidents.
Thank you. Perhaps the Director might like to just take that on notice and just follow that up when you get a chance. Thank you, Mr. Director. Thank you. Further items, councillors, the business paper, the Councillor Mann.
Yeah, I was just flicking through 2115, the Area Park pool. There seems to be a comment or a fairly heavily worded debate at the AGM about the repairs that need to be done around the surface of the pool. And they're sort of saying that they haven't had a reply. I was just wondering what was that all about?
Thank you. Councillor Mann, what page, sorry, were you on?
It's 2115.
21, yep. 473. Yep. Councillor Judd, are you able to elaborate on anything in relation to that, or is the Director aware of anything without notice?
Yes, Mr. I believe there's some disappointment with the performance of the recoat, which was done 2 summers ago, so particularly in the toddlers pool. So there are some minor repairs, cosmetic repairs that can be undertaken. We've been in contact with various members from the committee, so I'm not exactly sure what they're disappointed about.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Further, Councillor Mann?
Yeah, I was just reading the minutes.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
I was just reading the minutes of the AGM, and it's brought up in those.
Yes, you're quite right. That was, yes, on the 14th of October. So perhaps the Director might like to take that on notice. Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Mann. Further items, councillors? It's good to see that our loyal ratepayers are 2% ahead of this time last year, which is just a real credit to everybody. So there's nothing further in the information paper. I will call a 5-minute recess before we go into our... Pardon? Oh yes, I will be now closing a motion, please, to... Where are we? These recesses are all out of whack. What are you after? Yeah, we don't need a motion to close.
So we're going to confidential now.
Yeah, but that'll be done
Don't we
when
have
we
confidential?
come back. Can we stop the recording, please, as we proceed into a 5-minute recess, then proceeding into closed session. Thank you, councillors. Resume back into open council. Now, please have a motion to move into closed committee of the whole to consider confidential reports in accordance with section 10A bracket 2 of the Local Government Act 1993, advise that there are several matters that are deemed confidential and accordingly require a motion to have them considered. Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Mann, is that your flash? Are you happy to second the motion? Thank you. Moved and seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. The contrary, no. Declare the motion carried. We're in closed session.
Recording in progress.
Welcome back into open council, and I'd call on the General Manager to advise that the following motions have been brought forward from closed session into open session. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The minutes of the Confidential Assets and Operations Committee held on the 11th of November 2025 was resolved that the reports it was resolved that in relation to report 5.1, the recommendation as presented be adopted. That in relation to, it was resolved in relation to report 5.4 that the recommendation as presented be adopted. It was resolved that the remainder of the reports and recommendations as presented be adopted. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam General Manager. May I have a motion, please, to formally adopt those motions? I beg your pardon. Oh, I beg your pardon. It's on the motion of Councillor Smith and Councillor Judd. It was resolved that Council note the report in relation to the General Manager's informal performance review for the 7th of November 2025, noting the General Manager and all staff present in the chamber vacated the chamber and returned at 6 p.m. Someone prepared to move that we adopt all of those confidential motions into open. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sinclair. Thank you, Councillor Jukic. Moved and seconded. All those of that opinion, please say aye. To the contrary, no. I declare the motion carried. Is there any other further urgent business? If Councillor Irvine.
Just a question for the General Manager in regards to the confidential reports. As noted, the heavy vehicle temporary permit route. Will there be any sort of public announcement relative to those changes or any communication with the community relative to that?
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. Does the General Manager wish to comment? I'm not quite sure why that wasn't mentioned during the discussion in the meeting, Councillor Irvine. I wasn't here, of course, to... So, the General Manager, do you
clarify,
wish
it's
to...
just,
Councillor Irvine.
Just to clarify, it's only just occurred to me that it's something that is probably of interest to the public. I'm just wondering when the confidential element of it will be lifted.
Thank you, Councillor Irvine. I'll defer to the General Manager.
Through you, Mr Mayor, without revealing the contents of the resolution, which is in confidential currently, there are components that still need to be undertaken and reported back to Council before any of the information would be made publicly available. So there is a component of the resolution that still needs to come back to Council for consideration before it can move forward.
Thank you. There being no further business, I thank the Chamber very much and declare the meeting closed. Thank you.